Good evening and welcome to Blue Dream Love and Wellness. This is Cynthia, and I am here for our gathering of souls, along with all else that are here and blessed with us tonight. Now, I want to start out right away with just taking a deep breath, putting your hand on your heart chakra, and just breathe in that beautiful air and let your shoulders kind of drop down. We seem to hold our shoulders tight and not allow us to breathe enough. So just put your hands here and let's just bring a little love in, a little saying, so to speak. We all know that we have a divine higher intelligence, and it's actually a healing intelligence because our body already knows how to heal itself. We just have to give it that little bit of grace, those little bit of things that we need to allow it to heal. And when we don't feed our bodies appropriately, then we can't heal. And there's so many toxins everywhere that no matter how we eat, how we do, it's still flying in at us. So let's give our bodies a little love. So I want you just to hold on, put your hands on your chest, on your heart chakra, and I want you to imagine a pink ray of light. Remember our heart, red, pink quartz, granite. There are so many beautiful different kinds of crystals and stones and energies that we can call into our bodies. So let's just breathe in that pink, beautiful light, allow it to emanate, and just allow that divine love and wisdom to encompass us because we all have that within us. And just ask it to heal every single part of your heart, your soul. Allow your cellular restoration to occur. And instead of worry, bring in love. And instead of anxiety, bring in peace. Surround yourself, if you would please, with that beautiful light, that beautiful love, that protective, that peaceful ray of light, so that we can be enamored with the love from source, from divine, whatever you call it for yourself, and feel safe within this aspect and allow yourself to support yourself because at times we do not support ourselves. Allow yourself to be nurtured in love, in peace, in harmony, and just call that into every single situation you encounter today, tomorrow, or the next day, and just allow yourself to bless every situation, even though they may not feel like blessings, right? Because every situation does not feel like it's the right thing or the right situation, et cetera, et cetera. Do we all agree with that? Okay. So y'all know how I did the 9 hearts, where you go around, you rub your energy together. You want to get it good and going because if we don't get that energy going, we don't get that spark going. And when you rub your hands like this, it allows that energy. My hands get bright red. Do yours? Allow that energy to come into yourself and shake off the stale energy because no matter what, where we move through life, there's going to be stale energy and we seem to absorb that. So the more you do this, you'll find me doing this quite often, and allow yourself to come in. Start at the bridge of your nose and just remember, and you can say this to yourself every single day, several times a day. Bless yourself because the more you bless yourself and the more you do this, your body will think, hey, hey, they do really love me. So start here. I am pure love. I am enough. I am supported. I am blessed. I am worthy. I am affectionate. I am kind. I am as the source sees me. And this is enough. Remember, you can do that to your heart. Before I go to bed at night, I do this to my face. I do it to my neck, to my root chakra, because think of all the workings that everything does in each space, correct? It works hard while we're just going about our day and we don't really stop to think and to thank it. And you can also do it to your legs, your feet. Remember, those feet carry you through so much. And we're so blessed that they do what they do. So, when we talk about unconditional love and being supported, we have to remember that love does benefit our lives. Does it not? Okay. So, love can sustain us through unbearable circumstances, even though we feel the weight of them. It can sustain us when we have that lack of love, that will to wither and allow our person to just benefit from our love, whether we're holding another up or while another is holding you up. That's what love's all about. We can be starved for the appropriate physical contact. We can be starved to have a touch. And so many out there in the world today are too starved for this kind of attention and this kind of love. But when we allow ourselves to feel the love, feel the affection, the acceptance of said love, the validation of love, we can be more considerate and more kind, can we not? So, y'all know that song, Love Hurts? Bum, bum, bum. Love hurts. Da, 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 da. I don't remember who sings it right now, and I guess I should have looked that up.
Nazareth.
Thank you. Thank you. Considering the role of love in our lives, the joy of heartache, sometimes it does bring, but the passion and the agony of the wounds that get opened, love can heal that in many ways. And if we make our goals truly meaningful in life, then we are moving forward profoundly and powerfully. Yes? Or am I way off base? Yes? So if love is expressed by the actions we take, wouldn't we choose to be more fond, more affectionate, more respectful, even at times admiring or honoring the desire for that other person? Now, I know it's hard. We all know it's hard. We've all been up against that. And at times we don't feel that and we don't feel supported or loved. but we truly are. And at times, if you go in to look at the emotions, why I'm feeling this, it will flat out tell you that you're unsupported. But there's so many definitions underneath being unsupported. So are you, so to speak, unsupporting yourself because of things you've been through? Have you ever thought about that? It happens, doesn't it? So if love has both positive and negative connotations depending on the way it's expressed, would we not try to express it more positively? Yes? And it's difficult for some. It is. And many times, I'm going to just, you know how I am. The word love can purely mean sexual desire. The erotic love is used at times to sell products, is it not? So if we equate these objects or status symbols with sexual gratification, is it truly love? What do you think? It's not, is it? So we can utilize or express our power of love. We can use it to destruct. We can use it to destroy. But you have the right to express what nature meant it to be, which is truly affirming and healing as it's meant to be. Now, love between, let's say, parents and children, right? It is fundamental, but it can depend on how this love is expressed, true? Because our parents were broken, their parents were broken, their parents were broken, and it goes back generations. And when we come to us and come to these modalities and come to healing, we want to stop this from moving forth. And at times it passes right on to our kids, and it's a broken system. But if we can express those empowering and healing beliefs and remove the negative and implement positive, would it not help the situation at hand? Even though some aren't going to hear it and don't want to hear it. And our parental roles, whether we are the offspring or we're dealing with others whom we care for or mentor for, um, are somewhat not sacred in what they're feeling. They're not always appropriate. What part of love do we have? As love requires the wisdom and the respect and the balance. But the biggest part are the boundaries, are they not? Do you have boundaries when it comes to love? Do you have those set forth for you already? Or is that something that if somebody comes at you disrespectfully, you cannot put your hand up and stop it? So many times we get bowled over by people's learned behavior. It can crush our spirit, and we don't feel love. We don't feel support. We kind of are very hurt and come down into this egg, into this shell. to where we're just not very powerful, and it can pass so quickly to others. So if love is a yearning, so to speak, we can yearn to have love, and this love can be life-saving, can it not? Can we have love be a life-saving tool for us? Are we not allowed that in our lives? We are. So when we think of a person who's not perfect, because none of us are, we're all crackpots. That's just the way it is, and we can feel that. We may be comforted, so to speak, by our feelings for the person, and we are able to help them carry on with their life because of the hope and the love that we have, because we don't want to see them in agony, do we? We don't want to see anybody in agony. And there are so many complex emotions that are tied within this. So as humans, we need to experience a little more love than what we are. And it can bring on such immense joy and such deep connections that allows us to have personal growth among where we think we should have none. Do you feel that? Do you allow that? Okay. So I know we all, because we're human, we have challenges and misunderstandings, and it's always evolving, is it not? It's always moving. So if we allow love to communicate for us, but that misunderstanding can create such huge distance, we have to utilize effective listening, emotions, and expressions. But sometimes that's really hard because we're so set. There's so much going on. There's just an insurmountable amount of energy. And we can, in fact, lose oneself in a relationship that is negative, but we should really allow ourselves to grow personally and identify, is this us seeing this in someone else, or is it us feeling this in ourselves? We rely on such dependency of other people when we should look deeper within ourselves, correct? And it is hard to look inside. We always blame everything on everybody else. But if things are happening around us, is it not the way we see, we react, our own energy that we are projecting and not allowing us to remove that veil and to see? What do you think? Yes? So many relationships suffer because of these idolized, or yeah, idolized notions, I guess I should say, of love. But so many times they are influenced by real love, and real love requires effort, compromise, and acceptance of all those imperfections. Can we literally accept that? Do we feel that we can accept that? And sometimes we can't. Sometimes we drag our feet. Sometimes we're just flat out rude. There's many aspects, and I know it's a lot. So when you have past experiences and traumas, we have such a dependency on fear. Because if I step forward in this relationship, somebody's going to hurt me. We can put that out there and we can sabotage every single relationship we have, every friendship, every everything. Per se, yes, we can. So if we shape our lives a little bit different and address these issues, would we not have a healthy relationship with not only ourselves, because many do not have a healthy relationship with themselves, but our healthy relationship with others? Can we allow this to happen? Yes, no, maybe, maybe. Yes, no. So if we think about love, it's not static, is it? It changes over time, over years. It changes in couples. In couples, they kind of grow complacent and don't try anymore. It's just, hey, I gotcha. Yeah, whatever. But you need not to grow complacent because energy is continually moving and we need to invest deeper in our relationships now more than we ever have. Do you feel that? That we need to do that? So many times, not only fear, but vulnerability, correct? How many times do you feel vulnerable in a relationship due to the fact that love requires us to open up? And that can be frightening. And we all have been there and we all know that. Partners, friends, others express love and receive love differently, which can make conflicting languages throughout the love field, correct? Because we could sit here and all five of us could answer, what is love to you? And there would be five different answers, correct? So if we allow external pleasures to, from society, from culture, from even family expectations that create and cause tension, we still need love. So many times it's like we're scratching on a fence post and we can't get anywhere because we need to practice empathy. And for some people, empathy is really hard to come across. All they think about and look about is at themselves. It's not the way to live. It's not the way to do it. We have to prioritize our emotional intimacy by resolving the conflicts with mutual respect. And at times, this is hard because that fear comes in, that vulnerability comes in. We've got that wall down and we can't let it go. But remember to keep that spark alive, keep reaching out, keep trying, keep your efforts going, and create more creativity within that relationship. And there's many ways to do that. And it all depends on the person. So we know love isn't always easy, it is complex. But the makers of the most rewarding aspects of life is unconditional love, whether that's between family, friends, your spouse, your partner, whatever it may be. There needs to be respect. So, what aspects of love do you find most challenging in your lives? You can unmute and answer if you'd like. What do you find most challenging? Because love is the core of all mysteries in life. And if you give it gratitude and grace, we will allow it to find us. So, can you tell me what your aspects, if you don't want to speak, that's fine. You can put it in the chat box. But what do you feel are your biggest challenges, or what's your most intriguing challenge that you've had in the love field? Whether it's love of friends, family, our partners, our spouses. Do you want to talk?
Hi, Cynthia. I would like to talk.
Please.
Uh, for me, my biggest challenge when it comes to whether it's a relationship, family, or friendships, is I always find myself people who are takers, and I always have to give myself and I would love to see the situation the other way around. It becomes a give and take, not only me being like give, 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 and other people take, 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 take. And I'll sometimes get tired and move on and be like, okay, fine, move on. And then I'll again get to another taker.
Right.
And I mean, unfortunately, with my family, there is nothing I can do because they are my family. But even my family, I find some like these people are just takers, not givers at all. So
So,
that is my challenge.
okay, that is your challenge. So, have you ever looked deep within yourself of a broadcast message or a despair anchor that keeps them coming to you for takers? Is there a reason the takers keep coming at you? Do you know what I mean?
Uh, yes, I do. I do. I mean, I don't really know what is the reason, but I have looked at that and I haven't figured it out. But part of me sometimes say, okay, fine, maybe it's my upbringing. Maybe it made me so resilient that I would attract those people who are I'm not gonna say they are soft, but I just have to them. I have to
Right.
give them. I have to. Yes, sometimes I do think it's my upbringing. It's my childhood trauma.
Right. And have you ever worked with that childhood trauma to release any of it?
I I am currently trying to work with it, but so far I wouldn't say there is any change as a result. I just cut off all my friendships and I decided like, you know what, I'm gonna stay single for which has been like for the past 3 years now because I'm just tired of being a giver.
Right. I understand how you feel. Maybe we should work on that inner child and those beliefs that keep us stuck and don't allow us to move forward. I know that I think many of us feel the same way. Deb, wouldn't you say many of us feel the same way? Jeff, David, do you feel that you attract takers and not givers?
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeff, do you feel that way too?
Yep. Oh,
So,
I come from a family of takers. So
yes, and many of us do. Our trauma that we've had when we were little children can put an impression on us for the rest of our lives. And we don't feel we deserve the givers, the ones that will hold us up, that will love us without remorse, without any pain, that just are there.
I have a problem getting gifts from people at times
Yeah.
because it always seems like there's going to be something attached to it. Like, oh, I did this for you, now you owe me. And especially when it's something. I mean, I got that a lot from my family.
Hmm.
My father would do things for me. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, well, I did that for you. Now now you owe me, whether it was implied or it was, but that it always held over. It was always held over my head. You know, so
Hmm. And how does that make you feel, Jeff, now at your age?
I just do everything for myself. I don't want anything from anybody. I mean, Dave takes great care of me. Dave is the most generous guy I've ever known.
Yeah,
But
he is.
most people are not like Dave, and it makes it difficult. Um, my friend Brian is a lot like Dave in some ways. Um, he's got a little bit of Marty in him. Nobody knows Marty except the three of us. Um, but once you get past that, he is a giver. But he also
Hmm.
takes, and he's a balance, and I like that's one thing I like about Brian is he's balanced. Like you do something for him, and then he's got to go out of his way to kind of make it up to you.
To bless you back, right?
Yeah. So, but I mean, most people, it's a trust thing. You don't. It's very hard to trust people.
Yes, that fear, that vulnerability, because we've been hurt so many times before.
Hmm.
And it can be exponentially so. But remember, when we've been hurt like this, those inner child emotions, those inner child beliefs are sitting right out there, and everybody can read them but us. They're written across our chest, flashing, they're flashing across our forehead, and they're out here on a megaphone bursting to the world. But we can't see it because we're not supposed to, because we've been hurt.
I,
So
I,
many times, children feel like their emotions, their lives are burdens to their parents, that
yeah,
they are not acknowledged. They feel hopeless, they feel helpless, they feel panic. And it can be, beliefs come from age 7 and below, but they can be built on, and they just keep growing and growing. And then we've got this hard shell up here, up front, and we don't knock that bridge down because we do not want to be hurt.
I mean,
Is that how you feel?
I personally go into almost every situation wearing Kevlar and a flak jacket.
Oh,
So,
Jeff.
but I do. I mean, but I've been like that for God, 50 years. I've been doing that since I was a kid, just because I expect, for lack of a better word, an attack.
Hmm.
I expect that to come, so I'd rather be prepared for it
Then
and
not.
than not.
Debbie, is that how you feel too? How do you feel? Remember to unmute yourself. Thank you.
I hmm, I don't go in fact, I think I'm the opposite. I go in naive. Uh, Maybe not naive. I just go in and love. I go in and trust. And I've been hurt a lot,
Hmm.
but that's who I am. I but I have learned, and my uh, biggest challenge that I've had to learn was boundaries.
Yes.
And so going into relationships, I choose love, I choose grace, I choose forgiveness. No matter how hard it is, I've learned that's the only way.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm hurting myself.
Yes, you are.
And
Yes.
so, yeah, I think boundaries are huge, and I'm still learning
I
about
think we always
boundaries.
will, won't we?
I think so. I think so.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Dave, what about you? I don't think I can unmute you. Nope. Still not unmuted. I don't think. Oh, there we go.
It's a government phone. Give it time.
So, what are your aspects do you find most challenging or, on the other foot, more intriguing?
As the oldest child in the family of two children, both adopted, the onus was always on me to take care of my little sister and do this and do this and do this. And I was constantly working while she was constantly playing. So there was a gender issue there, right? Because till I was in middle school, I never baked a cookie, but they offered a class for guys to cook, and there were girls in there too, but that was really different. And that was what, 1975, somewhere in there. But they there's all sorts of responsibilities that as you get older that are baseline based the way that you were raised. So again, always working. As somebody else I know that may have blonde hair and glasses, but um, you know, the I think that things are shared around here, but for the greater majority, I think that to find the balance, sometimes just 2 grains of salt can tip the scale.
Yes, it can. So, you find it more challenging being a male? Not trying to gender bias here, but I
I'm
understand what you're saying.
raised under that gender bias.
Hmm. Many of us were back in the day.
Right. And I know,
Girls were meant to stay home and cook, boys were meant to go work, but not so much anymore.
right. And I know someone now that still has a an issue of being fed first instead of being fed last.
That's always a gender thing too.
Not always. Sometimes it's just how spin of the wheel.
Or how the family raised that men came first and children and women ate very last. It's just how we were raised. You know, back in the day, back in the 60s, things were a lot different from what they are now. And we need to remember that we are here for a reason. We may not think we are, and we may not realize how special truly are, and that we're allowed to not be taken advantage of. We're allowed to have the love that we so much deserve. And everybody deserves unconditional love through and through.
Yeah, but
Everybody deserves support.
how about when you are not allowed to feel like you're special?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I
Your
grew up. You know,
your life was
I think
really
I've told
rough,
you,
Jeff,
I think I told you this before. I tell my two dogs that I love them more in one day than my entire family has told me in my entire life.
and that
So,
is sad.
you know, how do you handle relationship situations that come up until you get comfortable with them?
Right.
Because most of the time I don't feel comfortable, and most of the time you get kicked in the teeth so often you just stop smiling.
Yes.
Get a new dentures.
Yeah,
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 we
Kevlar dentures.
That's right.
mhm.
Mm.
But
Okay.
got to give the time to that you want to give of yourself to them, and they have to understand. You know, Cynthia will tell you, I've got this great big, great big ivory tower. It's not made of ivory. It's made of all the little boxes of all the stuff that has ever occurred that I can't repeat.
Hmm.
So she's looking, if you know anybody that's got some C4, she's looking for some. But with what she does, and, she works on me, and I do my best to, express how it feels. And sometimes you just can't.
Mm.
And then, in a day or two, then you can. But
That's how energy works.
yeah,
So let's go in here and do a little ESR. Um, this is just a technique to allow our subconscious mind to feel, see, we are safe. We are safe here. So if you want to rub your hands for me. Now remember, we have neurovascular points on our forehead, correct? And this is where the blood flow starts. So you want to I take these 4 fingers, and you've got these bumps right here on your head, right? Go on the inside of them, hold them, and put your thumbs on your temples and breathe. Now, several things will come up as the energy starts flowing. And if you want to think about something that's maybe present at this time, I don't want you to go deep, deep, dark. I don't want you to do that. But I want you to think about something that gives you pain, that brings up memories, that causes you strife. And I want you to not feel it physically, but I want you to recognize it. If it has a color, give it a color. If you could hear the voices, the comments being made, know that you are an adult and you are safe in your own space, in your own energy. If you can feel the circumstances, bring in positive love and bring in the reassurance of the patience that you have for yourself and others. Allow yourself to be the giver of this love. Allow yourself the grace to know that you are loved. Now, this can feel like many things to you. It can feel really funny. Jeff, how does it feel? Put your fingers here, Jeff. Can you feel the energy moving? Right on the inside. So if you can't feel it moving, at times it's very hard to get out of our own way. And that's normal because we expect certain things and certain traumas that we've been through doesn't allow us to feel what we need to feel. So allow that grace to infloat upon you. Now you can do this many times and allow that blood to come to your forehead because you don't want all of the neurovascular blood back here in the back of your head. Because of the simple fact, when it's back here in the back of your head and you're living at this moment and you're in this crisis, your mind literally can't think. And you can't think of proper words or anything like that. It doesn't happen. So if you come back here and put it here, or you can do the okay where you go on the temples and bring it across. Now, it can take, and I mean, when I first started learning this, Oh man, I gave them such a hard time. There is no way these simple little things are gonna do anything. No way. And Donna Eden kept coming to me, telling me, yes, it will. Just give it time. Breathe, not shallow breaths, because we all breathe shallowly. Breathe deeply to where your belly button comes out. You feel your belly first, feel your chest second, and allow yourself to come home. Allow your energies to come home. There's so much we can do by placing our fingers on meridian points that will balance our body. The first time that I did this, and it, not the very first time, but when the first time I did it and I actually felt movement, I thought I was losing my mind. It tingled and felt kind of swishy from the back of my neck to my forehead. And I took my hands off and I thought, Lord, what did I just do? Donna laughed at me. She said, do it again. This time, breathe deep to 6, hold it to 6, and blow it out to 8. When you hold your breath, when you're deep breathing, and you hold that breath, that tickles that mitochondria and it goes whoosh, and it releases. Now, I know that sounds silly, but let me tell you, Donna knows what she's talking about. She's been doing this a long, long time. So when we have all this stuck energy and our heart cannot move forward, we feel like we just cannot love. We feel that we cannot give anymore. We feel like we cannot take anymore. That grief locks inside our heart, locks inside our lungs. And what does it cause? Heartache, lung issues, heart issues. And this is no coincidence because it goes to other glands, other organs. And then we have a real problem, don't we? So remember, all of this grief, we can also stuff it down inside our stomach because there's no room left at the end. We stuff it down below. This can cause ulcers, IBS. There's so many health issues that are related together, and people have no clue. So one of the things that I like to do, and I do several times a day, is I rake my chest. So when you rake your chest, you're allowing these ribs, these organs, these glands to come apart and allow your heart to grow. So what you do again, every time you touch yourself, shimmy, shake, come here to your center. Our ribs go all the way up here, right? So where does grief go? Do you ever sometimes feel grief and it locks in your Adam's apple and you can't breathe and your gut goes and it won't let go? It happens. So come up here and you shake. I always shake. She doesn't say to do that, but I have to shake and I pull it out and I throw it out. I don't want this stuff in my lungs. I have enough lung issues caused by grief. Yes, they're scarred from pneumonia, but it's grief because doctors sometimes don't know what they're doing either. Okay, so that may feel funny. You may tingle, and I just don't press lightly. I press, and I've bruised myself because of how hard I press, because I've had so much. I am so sick of the grief that I feel. So another thing, we have a right ventricle and a left ventricle, right? So let me show you a little tidbit. And excuse me. So how Donna expresses this. Our heart meridian starts here, right? And goes under and going off, right? So if our heart and our pericardium comes this way, right? That's the protector for the heart. Put your hand in your armpit. And if you can see my hand, You face it down and it goes into Mother Earth, and you just ask God to release this. Now, I actually turn my hand back and forth when I do this because my polarity isn't always on. This is one way to lock it on. And then you go to the other side and you do the same thing. Remember, we have such a high intelligence level that we can raise that vibration of our intelligence level and allow this to dissipate. So, have you ever heard of the Sea of Tranquility? So, we take these three fingers, we come from our sternum and go down in here to your chest. It's always at the bottom of my necklace. You want to hold that 3 point. You want to put that other hand on your heart chakra. Breathe it in. Let that sea of tranquility calm. Now, I'm not going to go deep into this because there's a lot into this, but I want you to feel that vibrational energy because it is there and it will balance. It won't let your heart vibrate so much that it hurts. It will put calming attributes in there. And then you can actually, when you hook up, when your energies hook together, you will yawn. When you yawn, when you're doing energy work, it is the movements of energy, which is very beautiful. So take the other three, put them here at your third eye. If you have nerve problems, if you're having trouble seeing your intuition, if you're having trouble seeing your passion, if you're having trouble connecting and seeing your inner truth. When I first did this one, it burnt like wildfire on me because I have nerve damage. And you know what? I can feel my toes, I can move my toes, and it's gone. It's not anything like it was. So we can allow this, and you just want the peace and harmony in the inside to flow into you. So you can also flip the polarity here because at times that polarity may be off. Then you want to go up to your crown and allow that space to open. Now, some people don't like to do the third, this to the top. They like to put their hand on it. Whatever is most comfortable for you. I know I've showed you many things you can do with your crown chakra, but I like to do this because I can feel the vibrational energy come up through those three fingers and it comes down and I just direct it down into Mother Earth. I don't carry it. I don't want it. Allow your crown to open up to source and divine and allow yourself to be grounded and shielded in a better way. Come back here to this. The axis goes up. Your neck goes like this on the back of your skull, right here. Now, a lot of people, and you still want to be holding Sea of Tranquility, a lot of people have pain at the back of their head when their C1 fits up into that little notch. Remember, the skull comes together. It shifts that energy, right? And we can have pain in this area. Now, if you have a lot of pain, then we need to work on that. There's more that needs to be done. But it can balance that. And again, you can flap your hands. At times when I feel my polarity is off, that means I get a little dizzy. I'm a little wobbly. I come right in, flip it on my palms, and you just allow it to happen. You can also shake and come in, as I've told you before, around very slowly. This is your bladder, your gallbladder, your triple warmer, your stomach. And when I do this, I'm not homolateral as bad. My energies are crossed. And so we can come in here and cross our energies. But remember the peace and harmony that we can have for ourselves. I mean, I can sit here and show you 1,000 different things to do, but we need to honor our love for ourselves. Can we do that? I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. And set that boundary up so people cannot come in and take it away. Now, I do have people that do that to me still to this day because my heart goes to them. And then I will give too much, and they're thinking, ah, hook, line, and sinker. I got her. Yeah, not so much. But I can see it, I can feel it, and I'll call you on it. And we are going to lose conductivity. Ah, can everybody still hear me? Let me know that you can still hear me. I just lost everything, and it's not going to come back.
You're back.
Are you here? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you and you're back. You did freeze for a bit, but you're back.
Okay, let me see if it'll. Whew. All righty then. Everything else went. Holy cow. Everything else went. Okay. See if I
Yes.
can get this back. Dave, are you there? Can you hear?
Yep.
Is your phone black?
Nope.
Well, what the heck? Okay. Doggone it. Okay, we'll see what we do. Okay. Whew. All righty then. Sorry about that. We are still having a little technical difficulty up here on the mountain, and that's what happens when you're on the mountain. So, do you have any questions for me, or would you mind if I go into everybody as a group? Would everybody be up for that? Is that cool if I do that? So what that means is I would go in and remove a couple imbalances that have to do with the subject of being unsupported. Is that cool with everybody? Thumbs up? Thumbs up? Okay. So what it's going to tell me, as I said, a broadcast message shoots out, right? And I'm not going to try to share this on here. I'm not going to allow it to lose. So the first thing that comes up is I am unworthy. So how many of you do emotional freedom technique? Does
I
anybody?
do it.
It's
Yes,
called,
I do.
do you do it?
Yes.
Beautiful. Deb, do you do it?
Not on a regular basis, I don't.
Okay. Jeff, do you? So when we do the emotional freedom technique, it very sweetly and nicely changes the energy field. And when you're consistent with it, we may not feel it right away. We may feel like if it's at a 7, 8, we may feel it drop. And if you keep practicing and keep doing it, it will literally realign and allow you to feel the grace that you need. So, would you like to do a real quick tapping? Beautiful. Thank you. So, we can do it Dr. David's way, or we can do it the other way. But I like Dr. David's way because I feel the energy more greatly. So, I go in here and it's not on the side of the hand with Dr. David's way. It's right here on your lymphatic points. And you want to rub it clockwise. Even though I feel unworthy at times, put your hand on your heart. I am safe. Rub it again. Even though I feel challenged of being unworthy, hand on your heart. I know that I am worthy. Even though this comes so often to me, I know I am supported by Source. So come up here to the inside of the eyebrows. this unworthiness that I feel. Side of the eyes. At times, it is very overwhelming. Under the eye. This unworthiness makes me feel horrible. This under the nose, this unworthiness knocks me off my feet. Chin, this unworthiness that I feel has been there my whole life. But let's come down on the collarbones. But what if I didn't have to feel like this anymore? Come underneath your arms, right sternum and nipples out. I am going to be worthy of everything I desire. Now, Dr. David goes between your knees and your hips is the gallbladder point. This is the point of anger. I want you to tap on here. I am worthy of every single desire in my life. This includes being loved unconditionally. And then you can come up here on the top of your crown and you can put in, I am pure love. And I do love myself unconditionally. Now, we're just going to do a short one. So what Dr. David does then, he has you actually come here on the side karate points. I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy. Back gate of every desire. And then hold this point. And then I want you to look down to the right, down to the left. I want you to roll your eyes to the right, roll your eyes to the left, and then hum, roll, roll, roll your boat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hum it again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Paint the floor with your eyes with all the negative. Just don't move your head. Just let your eyes rotate and paint the floor with all the negative. Take a breath in and paint your eyes to the heavens and let God grace you with the worthiness, the love, the appreciation, and the respect that you need and you require and you may have. And then put your hands on your heart. And then many times it just relaxes. Now, there's many ways to do this. There's many ways you can change it. You can put in your own verbiage that aligns with you. But it's so beautiful because when I first saw this done by Dr. David, I thought, oh, this is a little wild. But you know what? It moved so much more for me. I was not really a guinea pig, but I volunteered in one of his classes in Arizona to do this. And we were working on some me not sleeping and me hearing a gun go click, click, click at the back of my head every night. And when I go to lay down, that's what I hear is that click, click, click. And I cannot fall asleep. So he did this on me. We did 3 or 4 rounds. By the time we were done, I was sobbing so uncontrollable that it completely humiliating, overwhelmed, the whole 9 yards. But David says, grasp your heart. And I did. And he goes, Sin, you're loved. Don't forget that you're loved. God does not make crap. He makes beauty. And at times, it takes us a wee bit to see that beauty. Nobody deserves to be traumatized or abused. but we all deserve the unconditional love from everyone we encounter and meet. So be grateful, smile. When you smile, it turns on your radiant circuits, and we want those flying through us. And just allow the grace of love to float across to you. Does that sound good? Okay. I hope I made sense tonight. And I hope you gained a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of grace. And let me know if you're really interested in doing this group, and we'll go from there. It's only once a month. It's only every third Thursday. But if we need to change that, let me know what you think. And allow me to grace all of you. I love you. Thank you for being here. God bless you all.